Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day everyone. My name is Sun Aaron. So in this good opportunity, I would like to make a video presentation assignment for my academic speaking lesson to our honorable mentor Sir Muhammad Chandra SPD MED. So about the topic of my presentation, I'm going to explain about the use of podcast in improving students' speaking skills that I gathered this from article in GLA Journal of English Language and Education as my references. The purpose of my presentation is on giving in the audience some fact that podcasts are, or we call it digital recording, like we see it on televisions, radio, and interview, could be a good alternative for students on improving their English skills. Nah, First, I will start with explaining about the researcher's method to the class 9 ES2 with total 30 students. This pre-experimental study employs pre-test and post-test. I'll describe about our finding and discussions, and then I will explain about researchers' conclusions, and finally, my suggestion as student who still studies and still needs much to learn. And here's my outline, guys. You can see this by yourself. I don't really know how long my presentation will last, so I hope everybody sit still and stand by on focusing my video presentation. Thank you. Researchers methodology analyze. So this research employ a pre-experimental approach where on group pre-test and post-test design is involved. The research instrument they use is their collecting data by using oral test and pre-test and post-test. Yeah. The pretest was given to this experimental group just to measure their ability prior the podcast media treatment. Conversely, post-test was conducted to measure the students' achievement in speaking after applying several treatments. The researchers also used their smartphone as a tool to record their speaking performance. This helped the researchers analyze their speaking materials of the test were downloaded from startcooking.com. The topic of pre-test and post-test were about the procedure and tips since they were congruent with the syllabus that used in school at second grade class. So 5 meetings including the pre-test and treatment and post-test are conducted. For the data analyzing technique, the researchers analyzed student score based on the aspect of speaking purpose by Brown 2004 where for each component, speaking was categorized in 4 band scales. In addition, the researchers record their speaking in every test. This helped researchers analyze their speaking performance easier. So, in statistic calculation process, the researchers analyze data as 1. The mean scores. The researchers will find the mean scores from the raw data from both tests and the median scores used to see the average scores. The formula mean suggested by Arikunto 2006. Second, hypothesis testing. The researchers analyzed data by using statistical formula suggested by Arikunto 2010. Finally, after the calculation and finding out the final result of the t-test, then the researchers compared them to figure out if there are any differences. And in this case, the researchers used the alternative hypothesis and the null hypothesis. Finding and discussion. This pre-experimental research found that there are an improvement for the students' speaking skills by using the podcast. This improvement can be seen from the result of pre-test and post-test. The following table below illustrates the result of the student pre-test and post-test and difference between them. The table shows is the result score of pre-test and post-test and their differences. It can be interpreted that highest score of the pre-test was 75 and the lowest score was 40. The total scores of pre-test session was 1,750 and the mean score was 58.3. Discussion this study was aimed at finding out whether the use of podcast media in teaching can improve student speaking skills, especially fluency and pronunciation. When the researchers have done analyzing all the data, it was revealed that this research support the alternative hypothesis. Sorry guys, my phone is ringing. As described in the research background, that students found many difficulties in speaking performance. They could not express their idea, they could not speak fluently, use the right structure or lack of producing appropriate vocabulary, and produce correct pronunciation. But however, after doing several treatments, it shows that the previous problem encountered by students was solved, especially their fluency and pronunciation become better. Conclusion. The researchers concluded that the podcast media demonstrate a positive frustration and student speaking achievement. So, in addition, this media could help with students' problem in speaking, such as incorrect pronunciation and good fluency. Where these problems only procure the unexpected score to pass minimum completion criteria, in Indonesian is kriteria ketuntasan minimal. The test conducted by the researchers, obviously, after a post-test was held, the student score was increased. It is implies that their speaking skills performance have improved. Given this point, applying podcast media in teaching speaking showed a positive result in assisting students to improve speaking performance, especially pronunciation and fluency. In conclusion and suggestion. So, in conclusion, now that we know that there are an alternative way to learn English and improving our English skills by using the podcast, we could make a learning material by using podcasts to improve our study. Based on the finding of our presentation, I would like to have a suggestion as a students who still need to learn and still don't know too much of anything. Even if I don't make the Even if we don't make a podcast method in learning English at school, we could still learn it by ourselves. Like many of learning media such as television, radio, and other communication device can help us to improve our skills by podcast methodology. Sorry guys, it's ringing again. Nice. Alright everyone, that's all I think about my presentation video. I think this is the end of my video presentation. Thank you for you guys attention and have a nice day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh guys.